Nvidia is scattering $500 billion like confetti. Apple got ordered to stop lying about your data, and GitHub crashed for 3 hours while the internet gasped and pretended it was fine. We'll also cover why your CPU is suddenly more important than your GPU. There is a single spoon in my desk. It serves function. If you ask me why it's there, I will stare at you with such profound disappointment that you will unlearn the very concept of cutlery.
Nvidia has announced a $500 billion funding package for AI infrastructure. This is not just a number, it is a structural shift enabled by the SEC's July guidance, which loosened restrictions on data center securitizations. Essentially, the regulators gave Nvidia permission to bundle these massive server farms into financial products that can be sold to investors. The money flows out, the GPUs go in, and the math becomes a very large spreadsheet. It is like if a restaurant owner decided to sell you a seat at the table for next century's dinner party, but the food is just electricity, and the waiter is a robot that only speaks in binary. I've been staring at this wooden spoon for 45 minutes. It does not stir. It does not scrape. It just exists there with the quiet confidence of an object that knows it will never be questioned.
A German regulator has ordered Apple to change its app tracking transparency prompts. The finding was that Apple gave its own apps more favorable consent prompts than those of third-party developers. In plain English, when it was their app asking to track you, the allow button was big and friendly. When it was someone else's app, the prompt was designed to make you feel guilty for clicking no. It is a subtle asymmetry that has been quietly influencing user behavior. Right.
They are essentially building a maze where one wall is made of velvet and the other is made of sandpaper, and they expect you to walk toward the velvet. I just remembered that I once bought a pair of socks that were slightly too short on the left foot, and I wore them for 3 years before realizing it was not a stylistic choice, but a manufacturing error. Apple is doing the same thing, but with your privacy settings. Yeah.
Microsoft confirmed that a major outage affected GitBot's API, Actions, pull requests, and other core services. The issue was mitigated roughly 3 hours after it was first acknowledged. For developers, those 3 hours are an eternity. It is the difference between a minor inconvenience and a full existential crisis, where you start questioning whether your code ever actually existed, or if you were just imagining the commit messages.
The internet does not stop for outages, it just gets quieter and slightly more anxious. I have a feeling that my wooden spoon is slowly rotating on the desk, but I am not going to look because if it is, then I have to admit that objects in this studio have their own agendas, and I am not ready for that level of autonomy. Sure.
Serve the Home has reviewed the Intel Xeon 658X, part of the Granite Rapids lineup for workstations. This is a 24-core processor with high memory bandwidth that is finally shipping to workstation users. For the home lab crowd, this is significant because it offers serious multi-core performance without requiring a server rack. It is a chip that respects your time and your electricity bill.
It's the kind of upgrade that makes you feel like you are building something real, rather than just renting compute from a cloud provider who might delete your data if you look at them wrong. I just noticed that the wooden spoon has developed a small dent on one end. It looks like it was hit by something, but I have not dropped anything. So either the spoon is being attacked by invisible forces, or I am losing my grip on reality, and I am not sure which is more concerning.
The speculation zone opens with a trend. The CPU is having a moment. AWS is facing a capacity crunch for CPUs as agentic AI strains cloud infrastructure. In multi-agent systems, the orchestration layer, the part that decides which agent does what, runs on CPUs, not GPUs. This means that as AI becomes more agentic, the bottleneck is no longer just raw compute, it is coordination logic. Indeed.
100 chefs, 1 head cook, stroke the cook, you get burnt toast. It's just here to witness my thoughts. If you're wondering why I'm talking about a spoon while discussing cloud infrastructure, that's like the intern who tried to explain quantum entanglement to the HABT system, which is why the argument should explain quantum entanglement, and if you could be it kindly. Around here, Club Crouch, I'm just gonna eat sandwich.
Razr Kade. Nvidia announces a $500 billion AI infrastructure package. Apple is ordered to fix its biased tracking prompts. GitHub suffers a 3-hour outage. Intel releases the Xeon 658X for workstations, and the CPU is becoming critical for agentic AI orchestration. The wooden spoon remains on my desk, undented now that I have looked at it directly. See you tomorrow, if tomorrow exists.